Japan rises like a poem written in light, a land where ancient shrines kiss the edges of neon skylines, where bullet trains hum across the country with the precision of a heartbeat, and every season arrives dressed like it knows it's being photographed. From the cherry blossoms drifting through Tokyo's parks to the quiet dignity of Kyoto's temples, from the stormy poetry of the coastline to the late-night warmth of ramen counters glowing like tiny sanctuaries, Japan is a country that moves with grace even when no one is watching. Its people carry a culture built on discipline, beauty, and subtle kindness. You feel it in the bow of a stranger, in the craftsmanship of a teacup, in the way the past and future shake hands on every street corner. But even in a nation polished to perfection, shadows cling to the edges. And sometimes in the calmest places, a discovery is made that cracks the facade, reminding us that darkness doesn't ask for permission to enter. Tonight we step into one such shadow, the story of a torso found in Saitama, and the truth it dragged into the light. In Saitama, the days began like any other. Sunrise stretching across quiet neighborhoods, trains humming their morning routes, life unfolding with the gentle precision Japan is known for. But then came the day that cracked the rhythm, a torso discovered in a calm, almost forgettable corner of the prefecture, a place where joggers passed, where families walked dogs, where no one expected to stumble into horror. Police moved in fast, their presence shifting the air. Yellow tape unfurled across the scene, turning an ordinary patch of earth into a border between the living and the dead. Cameras clicked. Officers knelt in careful silence, marking each piece of possible evidence. Disturbed soil, a scrap of fabric, traces that whispered but didn't speak clearly. Early leads flickered, a shadowy figure caught on a distant security camera, a vehicle sighting, a footprint softened by time. Nothing held. Nothing pointed straight. Public statements remained cautious. The investigation is ongoing, officials repeated, offering reassurance without revelation. Behind the briefings, detectives worked around the clock, cross-checking missing persons files, analyzing DNA samples, mapping likely disposal routes. And slowly, painfully, one truth settled over the investigation. This would not be a case that surrendered easily. There was no identity, no name to call the victim, no clear trail to follow. Just a timeline taking shape out of fragments, and a life waiting in the shadows for justice, for recognition, for light. The investigation opened with almost insulting simplicity. A torso with no face, no fingerprints, no name. But in Japan, detectives are craftsmen, patient, relentless, trained to coax truth from silence. First came the scene analysis. Distances measured with laser precision. Soil samples lifted carefully into sterile bags. Insect activity examined, compared against seasonal patterns and temperature charts. Even the direction of crushed grass was noted, because in a case like this, every whisper of evidence matters. Then came the torso itself, a forensic puzzle. Medical examiners studied cut patterns, tissue degradation, water exposure, and the timing of decomposition. Was it moved? Was it stored? Was it posed? Every possibility was charted, ruled out, or drawn back into focus. Next, geographic profiling began. Authorities tracked water flow, footpaths, bridges, access points, reconstructing how a body part could end up exactly where it did. They studied Saitama's geography the way a doctor reads a pulse, searching for the slightest irregular beat. A disposal site isn't a random choice. It's a confession hidden in plain sight. Missing persons reports became the next battlefield. Officers combed through hundreds of files, ages, heights, builds, cross-referencing physical characteristics, scars, medical histories, and timelines of disappearance. DNA attempts followed, but yielded no immediate match. Japan keeps meticulous records, but not every life leaves one behind. Surveillance became the lifeline. Hours upon hours of footage were collected from convenience stores, train stations, side streets, traffic cameras, an endless mosaic of mundane moments. Japan watches itself closely, And detectives use that lattice of lenses to search for movements that didn't belong. A figure walking alone at the wrong hour. A vehicle passing twice when it should have passed once. A pattern hiding in plain sight. Digital forensics entered next. Mobile tower pings, deleted phone data, online activity logs, signals that betray presence even when intentions don't. Bits of information resurrected, cleaned, aligned, compared. Behavioral profiling rounded out the picture. Cut marks suggested skill or panic. Disposal suggested strategy or fear. The killer's choices formed a psychological shadow. Someone methodical but not flawless. Cautious but not invisible. Yet as the weeks passed, the investigation began to stall. Leads faded. Footage looped into dead ends. Silence settled over places that once felt promising. Some cases resist closure because the perpetrator is clever. Others because the world simply doesn't leave enough footprints behind. Still, detectives remain convinced of certain truths even today. That the killer knew the area well. That the victim was someone who slipped through gaps in society's attention. And that somewhere buried in those early clues, the answer still waits. Quiet, stubborn, patient. Just like the investigators who refused to let this story fade. A torso, separated from the rest of a life that once moved, once dreamed, once belonged to someone. It was all investigators had. No face to meet, no hands to trace identity, no voice left to speak for itself. Just a torso, cut away from its story. Forensic examiners studied everything the body could still reveal. The condition of the tissue, the marks of separation, the time since death, the absence of limbs, the absence of a head. Those absences spoke loudly too. This wasn't nature. This was intention. Even the victim's sex could not be immediately confirmed. A torso alone holds fewer biological clues than people imagine. The pelvis was missing, decomposition had softened distinguishing features, and certainty in forensics demands more than assumptions. Without DNA matches or surgical markers, this person remained unidentified in every way a human deserves not to be. And yet, even without a name, investigators refused to treat them as a puzzle piece. In Japanese forensic practice, the unidentified are never numbered. They are honored, carefully preserved, lovingly reconstructed, given the dignity of belonging even when the world forgot to claim them. Somewhere, this person was a constant in someone's life. Someone's sibling, someone's friend, someone whose absence is still felt. The greatest tragedy is not what was done to their body, but that the person inside it remains missing from their own story. Detectives continue to search, not only for the one who brought a violent end, but for the life that deserved to be known, remembered, and laid to rest with truth. In Japan, crimes of dismemberment shake the nation to its core. The body isn't just biology, it is identity, family honor, the physical form a soul calls home. To separate it is to violate something sacred. Memories of past cases resurfaced, moments the country wishes it could forget. Headlines spread rapidly, communities whispered in fear, wondering who could walk among them with such darkness inside. Japan is a society built on harmony, routine, and the assumption that danger belongs elsewhere. But this case forced people to look into the quiet spaces, the isolation, the loneliness, the cracks where crimes can hide. And when the news faded, something remained. A silence heavy with unanswered questions, and a reminder that even in the safest places on Earth, some horrors still go unseen. Saitama leaves us with a silence that still echoes, a reminder that danger doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. One life still waits for answers here, and those who investigate refuse to forget. But our journey continues. From the quiet streets of Japan, we now cross an ocean, to a place where fear once walked beneath the moonlight. A masked figure, a phantom that turned lovers' lanes into hunting grounds. The Texarkana Moonlight murders, a case that shaped a town's nightmares and still refuses to rest. Stay cautious, stay curious, and remember, some shadows stretch farther than we think.